This is Rashawn Slater, first round draft pick for the LA Chargers, and you're listening to the Charged Up Bolts podcast. Bolt up.
Hello and welcome to the Charged Up Bolts podcast. It is our Christmas special, Christmas jumpers at the ready. And on this show, we bring you the latest Chargers news. We preview and review every Chargers game. And some of us wear amazing Christmas jumpers and others don't. So guys, I'm livid, I'm furious. So I'm joined by two non-jumper wearing individuals. First up, it is Mr. John Was. Julie, where's your jumper, John?
Oh, look, this is a Christmas jumper. I got it last Christmas. This is a Christmas jumper. Merry Christmas, boys. How are we doing?
Yeah.
I shouldn't be happy. I shouldn't be smiling. Just coming out of COVID for the second time this year. The Chargers lost last Thursday, but look, we've got to keep smiling. And with my football buddies, minus Dan. I hope you get well soon, Dan.
Yeah, get well soon, Dan. We're thinking of you.
Look, it's Christmas almost. And the season is not over. I just realised what you've done there, Bess.
It's warfare, mate. I'm also joined by someone who just told me before we started the show that he was a little bit chilly and was considering putting his Christmas jumper on, and then went and told me that it hits 18 degrees Celsius. So stick your Fahrenheit. I can't believe you moaning about the weather and giving me a headache as I fly around like Santa Claus on his sleigh. It is adroit as John. How are you?
Oh, I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. Christmas is all around us. Go on and let it snow. It's I was gonna wear a jumper, but yeah, it's almost
too hot. It's too hot for a jumper, obviously.
It's almost 70 degrees Fahrenheit here. I'd be sweating, so I gotta keep it cool here. You know, I got my flip flops on. In fairness, the other night it got down to like 5 degrees Celsius, which is about 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty dang cold for us around here. So I put out all my snow gear for that. Had my beanie.
Just on the Christmas festival, what's your favorite Christmas movies, guys? Mine has to be Chevy Chase, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. We watch it every year in our house.
Mate, everyone kept saying that, and I'd never seen it before. And then last Christmas we put it on, and it was incredible. I couldn't stop laughing.
How have you never seen this?
Oh my god!
I thought it was just an American tap, not watching any of that rubbish. And then it was absolutely brilliant.
It's brilliant. You cannot knock any Chevy Chase films. It's the law.
It was amazing, especially when the sewer comes up and just gets them, and then the Christmas lights just doing the switch. And I was like, amazing.
The only problem is with that movie, I know all the words to it, and my wife, she's like, we can watch it if you're not going to mention the words before they actually send the film. So I have to refrain from sort of coming out with the one-liners from Randy Quaid. Brilliant.
For me, Home Alone is up there. We just had it on here in the lounge, and that's like a Christmas miracle. So you've got to watch that. But I think first time this year, we watched something about a train. I can't remember what it's called now.
Polar Express.
The Polar Express.
I've never seen garbage.
Have you never watched Christmas movies? I don't understand. Like next year,
I watched Die Hard.
I've never seen Die Hard or Gremlins. Is your next
one. John, he lives in Bolton in Lancashire. They've only just got electricity, man. You know what I mean?
That's a nice looking tree in the background.
This internet connection he's got, he's actually stole it from Yorkshire. There's an internet cable and an Ethernet cable running over the Pennines.
Mate, best thing to come out of Yorkshire is the M62. But do you know what though? It seems to be, Christmas. We get more American, but is it not like Christmas on acid in America? Is it not just everywhere, decorations, parades, or is that just a movie myth, John?
It's pretty intense over here. It's some places by the end of Halloween over here, which is in October. By the end of October, it's already Christmas time. A lot of places will at least wait till after our Thanksgiving, when we celebrate that guy who got lost and then said, oh, I guess we're here in, India. So those must be Indians. Anyways, but after that amazing holiday where we get together and eat turkey and watch football, which is basically a football holiday at this point. We start doing Christmas and it's big. I mean, every mall, everything has a giant tree that's at least 1,000 feet tall. And they've got like foam machines spitting out fake snow because it doesn't snow out here. And it's insane. Like my neighbors are the Griswolds when it comes to their lights. They have so much stuff. They have to have a They have to have a generator just for the Christmas lights.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's insane around here. It's for us. So my wife loves Christmas; it's her favorite time of year. It's nonstop. I mean, we watch it basically Christmas movies nonstop, Christmas music nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
I get a little tired of Christmas. I'm fine with Christmas. It's not really my favorite holiday, and she can't believe that because she's such a crazy Christmas person. In fact, I constantly forget what the actual date of Christmas is, and she just gets so mad. I'm like, oh yeah, it's coming up. Isn't it like the 24th or something like that? And she's like, are you effing kidding? I'm just like, I don't know. It's around this. I was like, everybody closes down. I'll know what day it is. It's fine.
We do get we do get sort of some of the remnants of Christmas over in the UK. Obviously, we've got Costco over here. I walked into Costco on my wife's birthday in August, and they were selling pumpkins for Halloween. It's like, what the effing hell's going on here?
Really early.
So we do see, and look, it is full on here, and I think the biggest thing over in the UK is food. So I was going to the supermarket today. You need a tailgating party to get in the supermarket. You are queuing for hours to get in and out. It's ridiculous. So
yeah,
my wife and I go in the morning just to get the last few bits and bobs. We're out of here at 5:45 a.m. I've told you it was
That's
6.
the best times on Christmas shopping.
I've brought it forward 15 minutes. I no doubt it'll be crazy, but I'm pretty good. I go to the aisles that I need, fill the shopping trolley, and get out of there.
Well, yeah, this is the thing. Like you talk about food being important, but like I couldn't believe how different it is. So obviously, being Spanish, that is really important. Christmas Eve, it's Noche Buena, so it's seafood and paella and meats and cheeses. And then obviously, I've got an American colleague who was saying, "Oh, I can't believe you don't have Thanksgiving. You know, the turkey and the mash and the gravy, and I can't believe you've not got it over there in the UK." I'm like, that's every single Sunday. Every single Sunday of the year is a roast. Like, what do you eat? Do you not eat turkey in Christmas? What's a traditional American Christmas meal?
So that's an odd question because it actually really becomes specific to your family. Like there are plenty of families that do turkey on Christmas. Ham is one of the bigger things. A lot of those honey baked spiral hams, those are very common at Christmas time. People do a Christmas roast. Some people I like Christmas tamales personally. I love a good tamale. That's probably the Mexican in me, I guess. But it's amazing. It's amazing the diversity of the Christmas meals that you can get around here. So it kind of just depends. But I think ham is probably the most popular Christmas meal, like main dish. And then everyone else has other stuff, puddings and junk and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, my wife, she says she doesn't like turkey, so I'll do fajitas sometimes with turkey. She goes, "Oh, that was great." I was like, "That was turkey." I don't like turkey. Yeah, but you just had turkey fajitas. What are you talking about?
You can't taste it when you get the sauce on it, can you?
So we have I think it's lamb, pork, lamb, pork and beef for us. I think this Christmas.
Real quick, Waz, I got to know this.
Yes.
What do you put in your fajitas? Do you have cilantro or do you only have coriander?
No, I basically make them now as we've had them in Mexico. So I'll just make some homemade salsa. Just obviously some light seasoning on the meat, a bit of coriander, jalapenos.
Oh, coriander. Okay. I'm sorry. I can't do this. I refuse.
Coriander goes in the salsa.
My wife was actually in the UK for work for like a month. And I came to visit her about halfway through, and she was like, "I'm craving Mexican food." So I went to the market. I could not find cilantro anywhere, and I kept asking for it. People were like, "Oh, we've got coriander." It's not the same thing. Cilantro and coriander are not the same thing. It tastes completely different. It's completely the wrong thing. Actually, in Paris, we found a Tex-Mex restaurant in Paris, and they had cilantro. So maybe I have to go to Paris.
I'm not taking you on. I'm not having it. Get a cilantro.
I've actually spent a Christmas in Spain. Those of you who don't know, both my sister-in-laws live out there, and I was eating steak on Christmas Day. That was a novelty for me. But Dawn and I broke convention twice since we've been together in 16 years. One year I made a curry. I don't know why we just decided to. And one year we had spaghetti bolognese. I'm just like
a little Christmas fettuccine. Oh, yeah. Scrooge is here. That's you talk about movies. That's the one my wife loves. The Holiday. Loves The Holiday.
Yeah,
Christmas.
White Christmas. We'll probably have that on this weekend as well. Danny Kaye, we've got that on our one of our movies on Apple. So yeah, all good. Yeah, I think you mentioned it, John. Die Hard, brilliant film.
Definitely a Christmas film.
You got to have Gremlins. I mean, Gremlins is an amazing.
I've not watched that for years.
It's all about gift giving and family, and it's all during Christmas. There's Christmas music. I mean, you can't get more Christmassy than Gremlins, in my opinion.
Fair enough. So here's a big question before we move on to more serious matters. Yorkshire pudding is mandatory on a Christmas dinner.
What is that?
Oh,
I
don't even know what that is. Is it actual pudding? So here's the thing: you call things like pudding, and it's not actually pudding. It's something completely different.
So Yorkshire pudding, there's not many ingredients to it. Okay, it's like a batter basically. That's purely what it is.
Okay,
and you do it in a hot oven, and it rises. You can have small Yorkshire puddings. You can have giant ones. The giant ones you generally get filled with potatoes, vegetables, meat, gravy.
It's not like a dessert.
Hang on. Let me come on to this. So originally it was a dessert. Yes. So you can have it with. So my nan, when she was alive, she used to make this amazing raspberry vinegar. So you can have the Yorkshire pudding with raspberry vinegar. It was awesome. But where I'm from in South Yorkshire, where Bez's family live in South Yorkshire. Many people have Yorkshire pudding as a starter. It's basically big Yorkshire puddings and gravy. Now, the first time I took my wife to my dad's house, we sat down for dinner, and Dawn's looking at me going, "What the effing hell is this? Where the hell's my food?" So it's like you're getting that after her. So the next time I took her up, it was like, just give Dawn all her Yorkshire pudding together with her dinner. But
it's
Yorkshire puddings are a must.
It's essential.
We got our friends we met in Mexico from up in New York State. We got them making Yorkshire puddings. John, I'll send you the recipe because I know your wife's pretty good in the kitchen.
I would think she would love to. I mean, I've yet to find anything that's actually UK specific that actually tastes good and isn't bland. But I'm gonna try.
Oh my!
How do I remove this man from the podcast?
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna have to. John, when you come to London, my friend.
I've been to London many times, actually.
You go to the wrong places.
And there's good food in London. There's really good food in London, but none of it's actually English food. It's all from some other country. You can go to the wrong places. Import great food.
I think I've just upset.
We just steal it in colonialism.
Bez, I've just upset your wife there. She's saying what? Is that either the raspberry vinegar or the jam or the?
You've offended the nation, to be fair. But the thing is like it's absolutely mandatory to have a Yorkshire pudding. But it's controversial because I live near a place called Ramsbottom, and every year this is Lancashire, and there's the Lancashire-Yorkshire rivalry, and every year they have the black pudding throwing competition. So black pudding is sausage made out of pig's blood, and the Lancastrians get Bury black pudding, and you get massive Yorkshire puddings and stick them up on a big target, and you have to throw your Yorkshire pudding and destroy as many. Throw your black pudding and destroy as many Yorkshire puddings as you can. That is it's a bit controversial around these.
It's a waste of Yorkshire pudding and it's a waste of black pudding.
So okay, nobody answered my question. Is Yorkshire pudding a sweet thing or is it a savory thing? I don't.
It's savory, but you can make it sweet, but you can put jam on it.
It is.
You can put John. You can have anything you want with Yorkshire pudding, my friend. In fact, I would have Yorkshire pudding and custard for dessert on Christmas Day.
Get out! He's such a Yorkshireman. Jesus, moths will come out of his wallet next. You mop up your gravy with Yorkshire pudding, right? You mop it up. It's just soggy and doughy, and you get it crispy in the oven. We've got Aunt Bessie's risers for Christmas Day. Oh, so good. So yeah, you're missing out. But then again, you do have Thanksgiving horrific green beans in Campbell soup, which I cooked last Thanksgiving, and it's the worst food in the world. So
if you do it right, green bean casserole is pretty decent. I don't love it, but it's it has its moments, right? To me, it's that green bean pudding or green bean casserole is the Jerry Tillery of Christmas dishes. Okay, it's most of the time it's actually not very good, but every once in a while you're like, oh, okay, I see why we have it. Okay, right? So flour, eggs, and milk.
Well, I think that's a pancake, Hannah, but then again, it's like a rising pancake, There
you go. There's the Yorkshire pudding mix going across the bottom of the screen right now. Vegetable oil, 2 large free eggs, 100 grams of plain flour, 100 grams of milk.
Are we a cooking show now? Are we a cooking show now? I should give my wife
mix it up a bit, bang it in the oven until cooked.
Unbelievable.
Well, send me the recipe. I will make it, and then I'll post it online. No Meal Greats will give you his grade on a scale of 1 to 10. He will provide you the
The
grease.
sad thing is, John, you can actually buy them ready-made in the UK. They're frozen. You just bang them in the oven for about 3 minutes, which is dangerous because you get
I
a
always
bag of
put them in for too
24.
long.
Yeah, and I serve. So I'll buy a bag of 24, serve 4, and I've eaten the rest while I'm making dinner. It's great.
Well, I'm going to keep it food related now as we get it on track with the Chargers. No Christmas brisket. You know,
I was going to do a Christmas brisket this year, but I'm actually not hosting anybody for Christmas Eve or Christmas, so no brisket.
Well, we've lost to the Chiefs. Let's get it out of the way. This is a positive Christmas podcast episode or YouTube, whatever you want to call it. We've lost to the Chiefs. Disappointing. It was overtime, just as was predicted. Well done, was on getting that. We didn't get blown out like I thought. We didn't win narrowly like some of you thought. It was relatively low scoring, not too far off, John, your predictions. But we go into overtime. I think most of us can probably say that if you go into the 5-yard zone, 5 yards from the end zone, and you don't take any points on 3 occasions, then you're probably not going to win. We threw away the victory by being a little bit over aggressive, but we showed we can play with anyone, fear nobody. We came just a bit short, but at the end of the day, are you too downhearted? Are you happy, sad? What are you feeling?
There's a lot of stick going or being thrown at Brandon Staley after that defeat. I've got a couple of points on those points left on the field, and we've said time and time again we need to avoid it. First of all, I want to take you back 12 months to the 45-zip shutout against New England and the 27-17 loss to the Bills. I'm pretty sure in both those games the Chargers were 4-1. Sorry, they were a 4th down and 1, trailing the game, and we opted to punt. And quite rightly, Anthony Lynn got a lot of stick. Now, Staley's playing the game to win. So I think John mentioned this on Twitter. More times than not, these 4th down conversions pay off. They're gonna pay off more than they're gonna hurt you. Yes, I understand that if we'd have made one of those conversions, we'd have won that game. But he's trying to win. He's done a massive 180-degree U-turn on what we were 12 and 24 months ago. So yes, it's disappointing, but I'm liking the aggressiveness. And the other thing, the players have to take some responsibility. They couldn't convert those 4th down opportunities. All right, don't just lay it on Brandon Staley, and remember where we came from. Yeah, I'm bitterly disappointed. The Chiefs got away lightly, and they know it. Don't start coming at me saying that the Chiefs, oh yeah, they deserve to be top of the AFC. They got away lightly because we shot ourselves in the foot, quite frankly. It was disappointing, but I want to see Staley being aggressive. Just one of those things. We should have won that game, and we didn't. We've seen it time and time again. The season is not over.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. I'd rather have an aggressive coach than a coach who dilly-dallies and dithers and punts and makes a 2-score game a 2-score game. It's a bit ridiculous, but I think he was a little over-aggressive. I think you take the points. You're driving down the field. You're getting into scoring position. You take the points. Build them up. He was clearly fearful that Mahomes was going to come and score on him, and he felt he had to get ahead in the game.
And that's the problem. That's the problem, Bez. It's because Mahomes under center, and we know that he can do this. Had we been playing a team with a tier 2 or 3 quarterback, that might not be the case. But you've got to have daylight between you and the Chiefs, because they are going to turn it around very, very quickly.
A counter argument to that is it was almost aggressiveness from fear, and I don't think you should be fearing the Chiefs. Oh my God, Mahomes is going to come and score on us. We have to score a touchdown. No, you don't. Take the points. Trust your D. Corral Mahomes. I mean, John, kick the field goal or go for it. Are you with him, Staley, or not?
So I'm going to say this. I can agree with the fact that I think he probably was a little over aggressive, and I think that there's probably a time in there where I would have kicked the field goal, at the very least at the end of the half. That's what to me, that was the biggest sin of everything that he did. I think I was okay with everything else. I didn't love it, but I'm okay with everything else. But not kicking that field goal before half, I think, is something I would have done. I think that's the one place where I say, whether the analytics are say to do it or not, I think kicking that field goal cushions that lead, and I think it puts that onus on the Chiefs so that they have to get out of their game and really focus on just trying to catch up. And I think when you can force Mahomes to try to play from a deficit, you're going to get the Mahomes who makes mistakes versus the Mahomes who's kind of under pressure when it's close, right? So, I don't know. I think I agree though. I think you do not necessarily scared. I think you play to win, and I think you play aggressive against the Chiefs because the Chiefs can put up points and numbers at any time. I just think that's how you play. I think the first time you went for it, I agree 100% to have gone for it on fourth down. I mean, you got a big run back. You're in the end zone. Mike Williams drops a touchdown. Then you're like, you know what? We had him. We had two good plays that just didn't work out. Let's go for fourth down. And on fourth down, Parham with that gruesome injury, and glad to see that he's out of the hospital and he's feeling better and all that good stuff. So
thoughts are with him for that.
But he dropped it, right? That was a touchdown, right? The play before Mike Williams, that was a touchdown, right? So the play calls were right. The team just didn't execute, and I think that you have faith in your team to execute in those situations. You have faith that your team's going to catch the ball and score. So I think it's very deflating to run it all the way back to the 25 and then settle for a field goal on the opening kickoff, right? I'd rather just say, look, we're going for it. We're going to feel aggressive and take the shot. So I like that one. Later on in the game, that was iffy. It was going to be a pretty long field goal. It was probably like somewhere close to a 50-yard field goal, I think, if they had settled for fourth down. So, I mean, I don't know. It's, at that point, you're just kind of like, how are you feeling it's going? And to be honest, the Chargers offense had been moving the ball all game, right? Like, if the offense had been struggling to score and struggling to move the ball and they'd only had like 3 points up to that point, I would say don't go for it. But if you're thinking about the way the game's going and how well the offense was performing, the biggest detractor to the offense from moving the ball was themselves when they would drop passes or there would be miscommunication between the pass catcher and Herbert. So besides those times, the offense was moving the ball. So I like the idea. I like that you want to go for it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we can all sit back and go, hey, he should have kicked that one field goal one time and we would have won it. But honestly, how do we know that? If he takes one of those fourth downs and kicks a field goal and makes it, which, by the way, we all keep talking about got to kick the field goal, right? Take the points. How much of a guarantee is the field goal going to be for us? I mean, we've seen our kickers, right? It's not like a 100% trust.
Hey.
Okay. If we've got someone back there who I know is going to nail that field goal every time, okay, sure. Let's maybe kick a field goal once or twice, but I don't even know how much of a big of a risk it is going for it versus kicking the field goal. I think there might be an even amount of risk there. So I don't know. I love the aggressiveness. I like this is his brand. The players are all behind it. Everybody knows what they're doing. And honestly, at the end of the day, to me, it felt more like execution. To me, it wasn't about play calling. It wasn't about that was the wrong decision. It was about, hey, they made the right decision, but the players didn't execute. That's honestly how I felt. So, the first game that he was, where we started coining him fourth and Staley, no one had a problem with him going for it on fourth down every time. Why? Because it worked out, right? But now this time it doesn't work out. So we're like, oh, why would you do that? He's being consistent. He's being on brand. And I like that. I like to know, hey, we have an extra down. We always just have an extra down against the Chiefs.
Exactly, John. And after almost, nearly 80% of the season's, gone, the best chance that we have of winning a football game is when Justin Herbert has the ball in his hands.
Agreed.
That's a fact. We're not a team that relies on the defense to dig us out of a hole because we haven't got a quarterback that can't pass the football or rush the football. We've got a quarterback that can do everything. So why not give him the chance? I think the fact that we lost against the Chiefs, I think a lot of people out there saying the season, there's one or two saying that the season's done. I mean, come on, give your head a wobble. The season's not done. We are going to go to the playoffs. I'm telling you right now. I'll eat Bez's hat if we don't.
And positivity from Scrooge. I'm happy with that. I mean, Christmas is a time for giving. It's a time for charity. And,
not giving up too many yards though on Sunday.
Exactly. And the Chargers have a big Christmas gift against the Texans. What an easy matchup. Surely this is, John, just absolutely bread and butter victory, get back on track and keep our nose ahead in the race for the playoffs. Is it that simple, or without Bosa and a bit of a COVID outbreak, are you worried about this fixture?
Honestly, I think that the Texans are not a great team. I think this is a game they should win even with backups. And you know what? The Texans are starting to feel their own COVID outbreak. Their best player by far, the player who has been the most electric for them, Brandon Cooks, just got put on the reserve COVID list. So their kicker, Kai, whatever, Fairbairn or whatever, he just got put on the COVID list. So honestly, the offense for the Texans is one of the worst rated as far as DVOA goes. Offenses, and their defense is not a whole lot better. So, I mean, this is just one of the worst teams statistically in the league. It's not a team that, to be honest, scares me. I mean, they've got their quarterback is Davis Mills or maybe Tyrod. Who knows? I don't know. Like, I'd be more afraid of Tyrod. Personally,
we've been through this. We've been through this at length. Tyrod, sorry. Tyrod
Taylor. Tyrod. I'd be more afraid if he was starting, but I think it's going to be Davis Mills, assuming he doesn't catch COVID. So, honestly, I think this is a game that even with some of our big guys out, I think that the Chargers should win. So, it's a get-right game. And then the next two games are very winnable. I agree with Waz. I don't – it'd be pretty hard for me to stomach them not making the playoffs at this point. I mean, they've got 3 very, very winnable games coming up, right? I mean, the Raiders look like a disaster again. They barely beat the Browns, who are playing with third-string players. Like, literally half of the Browns' entire organization, from the towel boy all the way up to the GM, had COVID, and the Raiders still figured out a way to barely beat them. So, they should absolutely beat the Raiders. I don't care if it's in Vegas or whatever. They should absolutely beat the Raiders. They should beat the Texans. And honestly, the Broncos game sounds like a tough game because of what happened last time, but the Broncos in Denver are always a problem for the Chargers. Always. The Broncos in California, not so much. I actually think that they steamroll the Broncos, in my opinion. I think they actually make up for that loss, and I think they reverse it. And they take they dominate the Broncos. So honestly, I see 3 games where they basically dominate all 3 games. I see 3 really strong performances going into the playoffs, and I see them finishing as the number 5 seed for the playoffs. Hopefully they don't draw Tennessee like they're currently set to draw. Honestly, I'd love to see the Bengals hold on to the top spot, and they play the Bengals in round 1. That would be an awesome
I'd take that.
I think we match up really well against the Bengals. Would love to see them play the Bengals in the first round. Honestly, would love to see them play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. I think that would be an amazing way to get into the Super Bowl, would be to beat Mahomes in Kansas City in the AFC Championship game and basically show everybody that the Chargers are the best team in the West and that Herbert is the best quarterback in the league. So when all that happens, Bez, you're going to have to eat that brown hat that you got on there. Sorry.
I am, aren't I? Yeah. And when we don't even make the playoffs, then you can eat yours.
I will eat a hat. I mean, I will cook it up. I will dice it up and sprinkle it on some Yorkshire pudding, and I'll have Yorkshire pudding hat. Like, I'm not joking. I will do that. I will cut up a hat and I will eat it. I will make a video. I will eat my hat if they don't make the playoffs. I firmly believe this team is good enough to make the playoffs, and I firmly believe this team is going to beat the teams ahead of them. They are inconsistent, but generally when they lose, it's against a good team. They don't generally lose to bad teams. That's not generally what happens. So I think that they win all 3 games.
You make some good points, and you got me positive. It's positive time of year. I think I'm with you, and I think we're going to make the playoffs. And I think the exciting thing is that I believe on our day we can beat anyone. There's no AFC team I'm fearful of. The Patriots, give me a break. Mac Jones ain't going anywhere and winning anything. Bill Belichick always makes his team better and difficult to beat, but you're not getting all the way with that. Mahomes is coming to his own, and we just beaten him once this season and lost a very close game in overtime. I'm really confident about facing up to anyone on our day. You said we're going to the playoffs. Are you seeing a demolishing of this Texan team? We don't seem to be stooping down to poor teams' levels this year. So
look,
come on, overconfident.
We're gonna finish the season 3-0, okay? But I would not be surprised if we lost any of those games, including Sundays, because the COVID situation and the way the season's going, it's just crazy. If anyone had money on Detroit beating Arizona on Sunday, please come and do my lottery numbers. This season's mental, absolutely mental. You've got players having to play out of position, players stepping up everywhere. This is being recorded on Wednesday night. Come Sunday morning, for all we know, God forbid, Justin Herbert's in COVID protocol. We don't want that, but the point I'm making is
I'm predicting
so
40 burger for
unpredictable.
Easton Stick. Houston Six stands.
Look,
Unite.
it is so unpredictable at the minute, but I am firmly behind the fact that we're going to get 3 victories. And do you know what? I'm going to stick my neck on the line here. I think one of our AFC divisional rivals are going to get a good old-fashioned spanking. I really do. I think one of those 3 games, everything's just going to click, and we're just going to keep putting points on the board and have a nice, easy game, and everyone will be sat reading, I don't know, Christmas books in the 4th quarter because we've got a commanding lead. And I do think that when we get to playoffs, which I do think we will, then it's a different game altogether. We're going to be playing a wild card game probably, and the chances are our opposition has got 3rd string players in. And I think I put in our WhatsApp group earlier on today that there's going to be lots of twists and turns between now and the Super Bowl. Whoever plays in the Super Bowl, there's going to be some twists and turns because of the pandemic. You know, the fact that it's keeping players on the sidelines, and we don't want that. I always want to see the best players playing the game.
Of course you do.
It's arguably the most exciting sport in the world. The game can change on a knife edge. Things change very, very quickly, and it's not always fun to see the superstar sat watching on the sidelines, especially because of the pandemic. And I know the league has to enforce the rules. I get that. We all have to abide by the rules that our government set and what the league set, but there are going to be some twists and turns going down the line. I really do believe that.
Well, I'm glad you're both confident. I'm going to ask you a few predictions in a second, but I'll start. I actually think we're going to dominate this game. I think we then drop a game to the Broncos and we beat the Raiders and we go in the playoffs, level with others. But, you know, I agree with John about the travelling, but I think that COVID will have an impact. Teddy Bridgewater will be coming off that. But we'll get onto that next week. Against the Texans, I think this is a gimme. I think that we're going to lack a little bit of pass rush. There's some gaps in the team, but we're far too much to handle for a Texans team, the other end of the NFL draft this off-season. And we win 35-12. That's a pasting for me. What's your prediction?
I'm changing my prediction now. You just said that. I just had 35-9. Whoa. Seriously, that's what I was predicting, 35-9. Obviously, reading my notes. On the game on Sunday, I'm not worried about Bosa being out. I'm kind of glad it gives him a bit of a rest.
Yeah, rest his legs against this.
Yeah. You know, just like Rashawn Slater had a bit of a rest on Thursday. And by the way, 3 pressures for Storm. He did a decent job at left tackle. Could have been a lot worse. Yes, I know that your man Fisher wasn't playing for the Chiefs, but he did an okay job.
Yeah, I agree. So that's even bolder prediction than me. John, throw us a bone. He's going to be close.
I think it is. I think it's going to be closer than you guys realize. I really do. I think you guys are maybe overselling it. I mean, how many points did you say, Bez?
35.
35 for both of us. Yeah, 17 and 9 are the two.
I think it is. I think it's definitely going to be closer than that. I think it's going to be a very. I think it's going to be, like I said, I think it's going to be closer, and I think it's going to be 27-9. That's a bit closer.
I had a feeling you were going to say something like that.
When we actually lose like 9-7 or something like that, we're all going to be in a big hat.
Listen, right? If we lose this game on Sunday, I'm going to do the world's longest triathlon. I'm going to run to the Welsh coast. I'm going to swim to the east coast of America. I'm going to cycle to Brandon Staley's office demanding answers of why we lost that game.
Unbelievable. But, you know, it's positivity. We think it's going to be a good win. Bounce back from the Chiefs game. You know, it is Christmas, and I want to make this a little bit of fun. And so we're going to have one last special segment before we wrap things up.
Wait, are you saying we haven't had any fun before this?
It's all been play. It's not no. All work and no play makes Bezzy something boy. No. But, you know, it is Philcember. We're going to look back at the times the Chargers had Philip Rivers under center, and we went into December, hence Philcember, because he was outrageously good in this month. And we all have really fond memories of that period of time. So just wanted to reminisce a little bit about what Christmas with the Chargers, and it doesn't have to be Philip Rivers. If you have other memories of festive times and the Chargers, let me know. So mine is when a few years ago, Chargers chasing the playoffs, and we went into a game against the 49ers, who were terrible that season. Colin Kaepernick under center, and we got rinsed early doors. Colin Kaepernick ran for yards. Weddle was on fire for them. It was poor for us. We had Gore, I think, absolutely chewing us for yardage, and we were down and out and headed out of the playoff contention. And then Philip Rivers was shown a calendar, realised it was December, put the team on his back and dominated us to victory. I was up till 5 a.m, dancing around that we'd survived. Great memory, really festive game, loved it. John, you've been a Chargers fan a lot longer than we have. What is your favourite festive memory? Is it Philip Rivers related, or is there something else?
So I've got so many good memories.
Jealous.
Honestly, this is going to be weird, and I don't know why. I feel like this is like something that I really wanted to. I really want to think about it, but I'm actually going to talk about last year. And I know you're going to be like, "What?
Dave?
Why would he be talking about Chargers last year? Like that just seems like an awful a memory. Why would you bring any of that up?" But honestly, to me, that Raider game where they won 30-27, and I know they were I think they were like 4-6 or 4-7 at that point. Or I forget what it was. They were atrocious. They were way out of it. But I mean, Herbert had 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. He had that amazing touchdown run. I was in. Like, to me, the team went through adversity in that game, right? The team went through adversity. They were up 17-10 at halftime, and then the Raiders came back, right? And it was like, oh my God, this team they're gonna blow it. But then the Chargers came back and won it in OT, thanks to the Philip Rivers diving into the end, or Philip Rivers, thanks to Justin Herbert diving into the end zone. To me, that game was really the game where I thought, this is it. This kid is legitimate. He's not just putting up padded stats. He's not just like, okay, well, this team's out of it, so he's playing well and the team can't win. He can take the team on his shoulders and say, I'm going to win this game, right? I'm going to win this game for this team. I will take all the responsibility. And we've seen that happen multiple times this season where he said, like, in the Chiefs game, he's like, you know what? We need a touchdown here. I'm just going to run it in myself, right? He has that ability, and that's something that Phil could do. And obviously towards the end of his career, Phil lost some of his magic late, and he would lose some games late, and that was tough to watch. But I just remember thinking when I was watching Philip Rivers as he developed, thinking, you know what? This kid, he was older than me, but this guy, he's got something going on here, right? He's got that bone in his body that says, I will not let this team lose. And I wasn't sure if Herbert had it. I knew he was spectacular. I knew he was putting up numbers. I knew his physical gifts were amazing, and I knew he had a high ceiling. But I wasn't. I guess I was still waiting for that moment of, does this guy have it? Is this guy have that bone in his body that says, I will not let this team lose? And that Raider game last year, that showed it to me. That showed it to me that this kid is something special. And to me, that's an amazing December memory that I'm never going to get. I'm never going to forget him. I was in getting in the, I'm never going to forget that. It's such an amazing thing that I think that we're going to remember, when he's getting into the Hall of Fame. I think we're going to remember the 3 or 4 Super Bowls he's going to win for us. We're going to remember all that stuff. But when he's being inducted to the Hall of Fame, I think we're going to look back at that moment and go, that is when Justin Herbert was okay. That's when we all knew for sure.
Your little Christmas miracle that made you believe.
It was a Christmas miracle.
It's like the plot to a film.
He was like Tiny Tim throwing away that crutch and doing a double back flip. For anyone who's ever seen Scrooge, a great movie. Anyone? Bill Murray. Scrooge
version of the best.
So good. No. You got to see the Bill Murray version. Scrooge.
Bill Murray's quality.
So good.
Over to you, Woz. What's your little memory?
I just want to touch on something John just said there about Herbert. I was making coffee earlier on this afternoon, thinking about the podcast. How it was going to play out, what I had to say, and I knew you'd already mentioned it was Philcember. We were talking about Philip Rivers, and I stood there thinking, Philip Rivers is probably my favourite ever Chargers player, and Justin Herbert's here now, and I still can't. I don't know the answer to this in my own mind, is whether I think Herbert's my favourite player now, or is it Rivers? That's how good Herbert is.
That's incredible.
It is, and I just want to elaborate on this. I love sport, as you all know. I like my cycling. My wife used to work in Formula One, so I try and take an interest in that. I kind of keep an eye on the baseball. I'm not an expert or anything. I'll keep an eye on the basketball. I watch a lot of soccer, etc., etc. There are very few people in the world of sport that I'd walk over broken glass for. One is the late Sir Bobby Robson that managed the England soccer team. One is Jurgen Klopp because of his sort of leadership style. He's very infectious. And the other is Philip Rivers, just the way that he commands himself, the way that he portrays himself, and the way that he conducts himself. And the point I'm making is to have Herbert in my mind, for me to be talking about Herbert in the same tone as Rivers after not even 2 seasons says it all. We are really, really, really lucky to be having Justin Herbert. We quite easily, I'm looking at last season's record. Had we not gone on that run of 4 games at the end there, we could quite have easily have ended up with Tua or Joe Burrow. Look, I'm not knocking those 2 guys. This is not what this is about.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
The point is that we finished with a 6th overall pick and we got Justin Herbert. Absolutely fortuitous to get him. And we're going to have 15 to 20 years of watching that man leading our team. So I just wanted to make that point. But getting back to my favourite moment, it is Philip Rivers. It's the 2018. Excuse me. It's the 2-point conversion to Mike Dubb against the Chiefs.
Oh, what a game!
And it's not about the fact that we necessarily beat the Chiefs that way. I am sick and tired of outsiders that have never watched the Chargers week in, week out, knocking Philip Rivers. Go away, please. John, Bez and I, as you know, Sports Sheffield Wednesday, we used to have a gangly midfielder called Carlton Palmer. And he played for England, and the Italian soccer coach went, who on earth in England is injured for him to be playing? Unless you saw him week in, week out, you didn't appreciate him. And I think that's the same with Rivers. I think people like to pick on him because he wasn't mobile. But I tell you now, you get all those GMs and say, would you take Philip Rivers at their prime? There's probably 1 or 2 that'll say no. He was good. But that 2-point conversion against the Chiefs,
it's a great choice. That was an incredible win. Bold.
Bit of a long-winded answer.
I love it. Why not?
I wanted to get all that out there.
Amazing. No, I couldn't agree. Great memories. Mine, as I said at the beginning, is that big comeback win against the 49ers. But
I'm saying, can go back in sport. Who's your sort of go-to sportsman?
Oh God, Chris Waddle, Gerald Seaborn.
Gerald Seaborn.
Wednesday players for you guys, I'm afraid.
He was terrible.
I wear the number 8 because of them too.
We're not talking soccer, eh? Arsenal are 4th.
Oh yeah. Life's getting back to normal when the Arsenal are 4th. So yeah, that's it. It's Merry Christmas. I want to say to our listeners, thank you for listening. I have one special gift for all of you. It is from John Was Jr. He's got the mistletoe out. He's giving our listeners a kiss. Blow our listeners a kiss, Was.
Bez, that is shocking. Is that what you've been doing all week? Producing cheap, nasty graphics like that?
Well, someone else didn't do it, so I had to.
It's absolutely atrocious.
Well, guys, it's been a pleasure to have another calendar year with you. We will be back with some predictions, talking about if we win this week, who we would like to get in the playoffs next week. And we're going to see the Chargers through to the most irregular, odd-numbered season for a while. Guys, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, guys.
John,
Merry Christmas, Dan, as well.
Feliz Navidad. Thoughts out to Dan. Donald Parham Jr. Get better soon.
We'll wear woolly hats and scarves Christmas morning. John's barbecue, flip-flops, suntan lotion.
because it's so cold at 18 degrees. I'll say one more thing. It's not bolt up. It's bar humbug.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Have a great Christmas,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas,
Cheers.
everybody.